Sure, this is Arun Jacob, your friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor, speaking from my office here in Hamilton, New Zealand. This way. Okay, that one there is my license right above my shoulder. And my team and I, we have been very passionately promoting New Zealand as a destination for education and migration for the last few years now. I have lived in New Zealand since 2001, except for brief periods when I went back to India and I was there. But I moved with my family here to New Zealand in 2001 and been here ever since. And it's been a great journey, and because I like my own personal experiences here so much, and I also realized that New Zealand is a very good destination, is when I decided to set up a company to promote New Zealand as a destination. And yeah, speaking to all you guys, and I can see that some people are already coming on and saying hello. And so, hi Paul, hi Santu Das, and Jason, John, and Pinso, and yeah, everybody, it's lovely. So this was basically a question and answer session about any questions you guys have about studying or migrating to New Zealand. I'll be happy to answer. So hi Tarindu, good to say hello to you. How's it in Nelson? I hope it is going well for you. Hi Jejo, hi Hiren. Yeah, go ahead and type your questions, guys. And right, so the first question is from Arvind Sundaresan, and I'm gonna just switch to this monitor because it's a slightly bigger one. I had get offer letter from MIT, as I had worked for low salary and also got salary by hand and no IRD, no other proof other than experience certificate. Is it possible to get visa without this? Any other way? Arvind, I think you're mentioning about a student visa because you are trying to come because you say you have an offer from MIT. Number one, I hope you're working with us, with AJV, because we can analyze everything and tell you. If you have worked for a low salary and you worked for cash, meaning you got the salary in hand, there are still ways and means of proving that you genuinely work for these people. And a good agency will be able to explain that you did the actual work, but there is unfortunately no proof of the salary being paid into a bank account. And I'm thinking there are also no income tax records as well. So we are quite happy to take a look at your case, and our visa service team is very, very solid. We have people who have worked in the industry for a very long time, and there is also some people who worked for government departments, so we should be able to help you. So my recommendation to you is that connect with our team, and we will take a look at what proof you have to show your that you were working for this company. And I think if it was a genuine case where you were paid cash, which happens all the time in India, we should be able to get you your visa, not a problem. Okay, I hope I answered that. Right. Now, Jijo says, I want to migrate to Napier. Hi, Jijo. It's very interesting how you're particularly choosing one city in New Zealand. That's fantastic. I've been to Napier. If you watch some of my videos, you will see that there is a video I made on that beautiful beach in Napier. It's quite lovely, actually. It's called the Bay of Plenty, and the curve around that coast is beautiful. When you stand on the seashore, you can actually see it. So, as I keep saying in all my videos, now what has happened is to migrate to New Zealand directly has become a little difficult. You need to either have studied in New Zealand for 2 years and done a master's or a PhD in New Zealand, or you should have skilled employment or a skilled employment offer letter from an organization in New Zealand. And then these are the two ways by which you can migrate to New Zealand. So direct migration has become a little difficult of late. Which is why my team and I, we keep strongly advocating the study plus settle pathway, because when you come invest into a course in New Zealand, come and study here, you're not only getting yourself onshore, but you're also being able to go and meet prospective employers after you complete your course. And if you do a proper course, you should be able to get a post-study work visa. So basically, you come here for 2 years, and in those 2 years, you should be able to get a job offer. and that will fulfill that condition, which is that you need to have employment in New Zealand. And that's the way you will get enough points to be able to migrate to New Zealand, subject to meeting all the other conditions like health and character and all these other things, and IELTS as well. So that's the way to do it. So direct migration is practically ruled out, and also trying to find work in New Zealand when you're not present in the country is also very difficult. In my entire 10, 15 years of being in this industry, it's been a very handful of cases when people could actually find direct jobs in New Zealand as well. So my suggestion is seriously consider the study plus settle pathway, whether you're single or you're married. For married people, it's actually even more doubly beneficial, because you and your partner can come here, and if you're coming as a student, the partner will get full-time work rights, and you will get your part-time work rights as a student. So basically, you guys will be able to earn enough to not only take care of yourself, but also recoup some of the investment you make into your education. And by virtue of being onshore in New Zealand, you will also be able to be in front of employers and pitch strongly for a job. And when you get the job is when you fulfill that other condition, the second condition, that you have skilled employment or an offer of skilled employment in New Zealand. And that's when you get the required number of points, which is 160 or above right now, to be able to make a serious attempt at getting a resident visa in New Zealand, which, as most of you like to call, a PR or a migration. So that's how it happens. So I hope I have answered that. Right, right. My good friend Tarindu from Nelson. Tarindu is one of our fantastic student clients who has come from Sri Lanka and has gone to this beautiful city in the northern tip of the South Island called Nelson. I've been there a few times. It's an amazingly beautiful city, and I'm well, he says it's a bit cold these days. Yes, winter has started, so that's the reason I'm also sitting in this, and I've got a heater under the table that's going. So yeah, well, take care. It's not a terrible cold, terribly bad weather in New Zealand. Now, which brings up another interesting point. Yesterday, there was a gentleman who wrote to me from Canada. He says he's been in Canada for the last 15 years, and he's planning to migrate to New Zealand. And I was a little curious, so I wrote back to him saying, hey, you're already in a good country like Canada. Why do you want to migrate to New Zealand? And he said because the weather is pretty harsh in Canada, and it's so cold that he's been wanting to escape from that cold. He said he wanted to go back to the US from where he originally went to Canada, but he says after the recent political changes, he's not so sure he wants to go back to US, and that's why he chose New Zealand. And he did some research and realized the weather is quite temperate here. Although in winters it can get a little cold, but it's not as bad as some of the harsh climates like Canada or some of the other, North European countries, kind of thing. So, interesting point that Indu made about being, it being a little cold. But trust me, guys, nothing as cold as in parts of Canada or even in the US. I spent some of my time in the US, by the way, in the late 1990s, and I was in the midst of a very severe and cold winter in Chicago, and trust me, compared to that, New Zealand is a complete paradise. It's beautiful weather here pretty much all year round. So it does get a little cold, but nothing too crazy. So I guess I think you guys will be all right. Right, now Paul has returned. Okay, Jijo's returned. He's already in New Zealand. He's in Auckland. Okay, Jijo, you were saying that you're currently pursuing studies in Auckland. I want to migrate to I don't know why you're saying I want to migrate to Napier on the basis of my spouse work visa. She is working in Napier. That's why you want to go to Napier. Please suggest the procedure and documentation. Again, one of the common things that I keep saying is no procedure or documentation is straightforward. As a licensed immigration advisor, I need to look at all your documents. So I suggest you connect with our senior manager, Mary Joseph, who is also based here in Hamilton. She works as my assistant, so to speak, for all onshore licensed immigration advice cases. So kindly connect with Mary Joseph, and once this chat is over, I'll also connect you to her. So share your documents. I'll have a look at all the documents and then suggest what is the best way going forward for you, and also how we can assist and what the professional fees will be for it. But yeah, we are always constantly reuniting couples and families, and It's something we like doing quite a lot. So I'll be happy to help Jijo and his wife come back together as well. And yeah, if you're moving from Auckland to Napier, great move. I personally, as much as I like Auckland, I think you need to get out of Auckland because it is getting quite crowded and the rents are going up. And I think overall the quality of life would be better in smaller cities around New Zealand. And if you have employment in one of those smaller cities, why not? You will go there and live the Kiwi dream and get the real essence of New Zealand. So fantastic. Okay. So do connect with us, and I will also connect with you once this chat is over. Right, Rajneesh, hi Arun, hi Rajneesh, hi Robert. Bikash has written a question. He says, Bikash Chandra Ray, hello, is there any chance to obtain scholarship for PhD program in English Applied Linguistics? I have already applied through mail, which you sent. Thank you. Bikash, again, one of my videos talks about the possibility of doing a PhD in New Zealand. As a country, we are trying to attract researchers from different parts of the world. We are trying to become a knowledge economy. We do not have a large industrial base, nor do we have a lot of mining or any of those large industries that most of the countries have. So we're trying to keep it clean and green in New Zealand. And we're trying to grow our soft power, so to speak, and which is why the government has identified certain areas as our identified future growth areas, which includes biotechnology, creative industry, and the information technology areas. These are our identified future growth areas. And we, as part of our move as a country to increase our soft power, we are also trying to attract very good researchers into the country. And that is the reason PhD students are offered domestic fees and not international fees. So as compared to an international fees, normally which a student would pay about $20,000 to $25,000 for a one-year course. But for a PhD, you're probably paying only about a quarter of that, which is about $5,000 to $6,000 approximately. So there is already an inbuilt scholarship because the government is offering PhD students the domestic fees and not the international fees. Plus, you get full working rights, the full 40 hours. Plus, if you're coming with your spouse, he or she will get the full 40 hours working rights. So overall, it's a great package. And if you're also coming with children, your kids will also get domestic student status here in New Zealand. And if you're sending them to a state school or a state integrated school, the fees is not very high. So overall, there is already the whole PhD program is like a big scholarship program, to be honest, because we are trying very hard to attract researchers from different parts of the world. So go ahead and connect with us, and we'll be happy to get you an admission to a PhD. We will work closely with you. And besides all this, besides the inbuilt discount, so to speak, into the PhD, if your thesis is really, if your proposal is really good, there is a very good chance that you might get the full scholarship, which means whatever little fees you had to pay might also be covered by the scholarship. Plus, in certain instances, some of our students have also, who came for a PhD, also got living expenses as well as part of the stipend. So, I mean, it's a great opportunity, and we would love to work with PhD students. A lot of agencies, a lot of companies do not like to work with PhD students because they perceive it to be a lot of work and a bit cumbersome, but we are not like that. We love to work with high quality students, and for us, PhD students may not give us as much monetary benefit as some of the other students, but for us, they are the kind of students who will really make New Zealand into a strong knowledge economy. So we would go out of our way to help you guys. So please connect with our team, Bikash, and we'll be happy to help you. Okay, moving on. Praveen Kumar, I'm arriving to New Zealand next week to start my PhD. How good are the job opportunities for PhD graduates? I think they would be the same as any other graduates. To be honest, it will depend on your attitude, your skills, and your knowledge. Just by virtue of the fact that you're doing a PhD does not mean that an employer will go out of his way and say, oh, wow, you are a PhD student, so I'm going to give you a job. I think what matters is that you're able to sit in front of a prospective employer across the table and be able to talk confidently and be able to convince them why you're not, why you are the person they should pick for this particular role. So I think as a PhD student, your chances of getting a job are as good or as any other student. The advantage here, of course, is that you will have full time working rights, which means an employer will look at you a bit more positively, because then they know that there is no restriction of only 20 hours. So I do believe that your chances would be better. So all the very best. And if you were an AJV student, of course, we would have given you full support after you reach here as well. But all the very best, and I wish you, to do well in New Zealand. All right, moving on. Rahul Bharadwaj, hi, and thanks for your videos. Always, my question is that I want to meet AJV personally. Is it possible in Auckland? Hi, Rahul. Thanks for your comments about our videos. I guess, I'm not sure. This is the first time, guys, I'm actually going live on Facebook. I never did this before. So I hope everything that I'm saying will also become a video and get part of this group. But yeah, I do. If you're by AJV, if you mean just me, because it is not just me. By the way, guys, the AJV team is almost 30 people. We are spread across 3 countries. We are present in New Zealand. We have a big team in India, and we have 1 person working out of Dubai as well. So we are a team of approximately 30 people, and we are expecting to grow to become 50 people in the next few months. But we are present in these 3 countries, and I come to Auckland quite a lot. In fact, if everything goes well, I might be there tomorrow as well, because I was supposed to do a seminar on the same topics tomorrow at one of the institutions we work with, but it's still not been confirmed. But yes, Rahul, I come to Auckland quite often, and if you would like to catch up, more than happy to catch up for a coffee when I'm there next. Suggest you connect with Mary, our senior manager. If you go at Mary Joseph, you will see that she's on the group. Just connect with her. She and I, we travel to Auckland quite often, and we're more than happy to meet you guys and give our more than anything else, just to say hello and have a cup of tea and catch up on some information. Guys, everybody, by the way, Mary is undergoing training right now to also become a licensed immigration advisor. So she is right now undergoing the course called the Graduate Diploma in New Zealand Immigration Advice. And in a few months' time, she would be getting something called the provisional license, and she is being mentored by me to become the 2nd licensed immigration advisor in the company. She has been with the company practically from day one, and she has been with me as a team member for almost 14 years now. So she's a person who would, in some instances, when I'm not able to travel to a particular city, Mary would be coming in my place or in her own right as another senior officer of the company. So yeah, we look forward to meeting you guys in your different cities. Although I take every excuse, I'm grabbing every small excuse to drive out of Hamilton and to come to different cities. I love driving, by the way. So, and I've driven from New Zealand's northern tip to the southern tip at least 3-4 times. So, yeah, so I absolutely love to come and say hello to everybody in your town. So, all right. All right, moving on. Elias Tampi, what are the requirements for chef to apply the long-term skilled residency? Okay, Elias Tampi, as I just said sometime before, getting direct residency in New Zealand is almost impossible now, unless and until you have studied here in New Zealand for 2 years, doing a master's or a PhD, or the other condition is that you need to have a job offer, a skilled employment offer in New Zealand, or be in skilled employment in New Zealand to be able to apply for a resident visa. And from your question, it appears you're obviously not in New Zealand at the moment. So you will need to first get yourself into New Zealand, because the other complication is if you're not in New Zealand and you're trying to find work here, I think hardly anybody will actually even bother to look at your CV, because why would any employer go to the trouble of trying to find somebody overseas when there are already a lot of chefs here in New Zealand already? I mean, not only are our own young students, our Kiwi students, and our international students are passing out of, culinary schools in New Zealand. So there's already a good supply of chefs in New Zealand. And also because we are a large tourist destination in the world, tourism is our #1 industry. There is a constant flow of tourists coming into New Zealand, and which means there's always a massive requirement for chefs in New Zealand. So a lot of people who also come to New Zealand are coming on something called working holiday visa, which is mostly for a certain set of countries. So young people from there also come, and then they work as chefs and stuff like that. So The trick really, if you're planning to wanting to get residency in New Zealand, is that you need to be onshore in New Zealand. And to be in onshore, the best pathway, which is what we keep suggesting all the time, is come for a course, come for studies in New Zealand. If you do the right course, you will be here for 1 year for that course, plus another year, which is the post-study work visa. So you have 2 whole years to be able to put yourself in front of an employer and get a job. And when you get that job is when you will get the required number of points to apply for residency. Hope that is clear. So connect with our team and we will take it forward after this particular chat. All right. Nitin Balla, hi. Hi, Nitin Balla. Sandesh Maske, sir, after finishing 1 year graduate diploma in business studies, is it possible to find the job on Auckland on the similar field? I mean, Sandesh, we are also a very big service industry orientated country, so you will find a job. And as I keep saying, it boils down to how good is your attitude, your skills, and your knowledge, and how well you can present yourself to a prospective employer. I think that's the most important thing. My personal advice to people coming for business courses is it's probably not such a great idea unless and until you have some prior experience when you come to New Zealand. So some of our own students, in fact, one particular student, and I keep calling her the AJB star, she came for a business course in New Zealand, and she had about, I think, almost between 5 to 8 years of work experience before she came to New Zealand. Excellent English skills, very good experience, and she was very nervous before she came, and she sent us a lot of emails, and in fact, a couple of times even I got on the phone to speak to her to convince her to come here. And but after she came here, she did a course, got a post-study work visa, and right now she's employed in a very good firm in New Zealand, and she's got a job which is worth 60K. And that's one example, but I can give a lot of other examples of our students who have done business courses and found jobs. So it is absolutely possible to find jobs with a business course background, but it will help if you have had some prior experience, or if you're supremely confident, if you're the kind of guy who can sit in front of an employer and convince them why you need to be given that job. I think it is absolutely possible. So do not lose heart. It is definitely possible. And also look beyond Auckland. Auckland, as you know, is also quite tightly packed at the moment. And so look beyond Auckland as well. And if required, you guys are all single and young, travel beyond Auckland as well. But the short answer, yes, it is possible to get jobs, good jobs in after completing a business course. This particular student I was talking about, in fact, I have her documents right here on the table, and I'm about to file for her resident visa as well. So yeah, there is a very good progression even for business students. So all the best. Right, Jay Srivastava, hi sir, job opportunities regarding machine learning and IoT, which I'm thinking is Internet of Things. See, I know my technology. I'm currently working in India in this field, so I want to know more. And when should I apply for July or August visa? Jay, very good question. Machine learning and IoT, I think, are both the advanced levels in information technology at the moment. And as I keep screaming at the top of my voice, we have a severe shortage of good IT professionals in New Zealand. You will see a lot of videos and blogs and other posts saying there are no opportunities for IT people in New Zealand. That's a lot of nonsense. Do not believe those losers. These are the people who came, who did not have the requisite attitude, skills, or knowledge or English communication to be able to find a good job in New Zealand. About 3 or 4 months back, because someone challenged me saying there are actually no IT jobs in New Zealand, and the government is kind of creating a false image like there are IT jobs in New Zealand. So what I did is, I like a good challenge. So what I did is I picked up the phone and I spoke to a gentleman called Graham Muller, who is the CEO of NZ Tech, which is like the apex body of all technology organizations in New Zealand. So Graham and I, we had a great conversation. We almost spoke for 40 minutes, and I posed this question to Graham and said, Graham, especially in the migrant and international student community, a lot of people say that there are actually no jobs, and that the jobs you see in Seek and Trade Me and other places are all inflated. And he actually laughed it off, saying, I mean, what are you saying? I have statistics right here, right now at this moment, saying how desperately short we are on IT skills at the moment. So there is a serious shortage of IT skills, but maybe not so much at the entry level, but at this level of, machine learning and IoT and all those, more advanced levels, we constantly have a requirement. All my students who have come to New Zealand to do IT courses, most of them have done well. Some of them have struggled. I'll be honest with you. Not everybody has found a job and gotten on to that point of residence. Some have struggled, but I have also noticed that those with some experience have done very well. Those without enough experience have not done very well. So that seems to be the trend as well. But I think that's a very logical trend, that when you have more experience, I mean, look at me, I'm able to sit here and talk continuously without a break because of the experience that I have. So obviously the competence level and the ability to convince other people goes up. So good option for you. And should you come in July or August, they're kind of quite close to each other. So I don't think either July or August would matter. Although some of the institutions and universities do not have an intake after July, so you will have to wait till Feb. So I think you are coming to New Zealand as a machine learning and IoT is fantastic. Please come to New Zealand. We need people like you here in New Zealand. July or August, I would say have a chat with our team, and based on the course and the college you're choosing, we'll be able to suggest. Hope I've answered that. Okay. Tarindu, our AJV student, our dear Sri Lankan client. For my wife and child, which I plan to take next year after my job search, is it okay to save around 8,400 New Zealand dollars in my bank account? No need to transfer back to Sri Lanka. How much longer I should keep that money here in my account? I mean, yes, it is a requirement to be able to show $4,200 for a dependent if you're applying for their visa. There is no set limit that it has to be in your account throughout a particular time. That is more a requirement when you're applying for your student visa from Sri Lanka or India. Then the visa officers like to see that the funds have been there for at least a minimum period of time, which is normally around 6 months. This is what they expect. But once you're onshore in New Zealand and you're trying to apply for your dependent visas, I have noticed that there isn't such a large requirement. As long as the money is there in your account on the day that you're filing for your visa, it seems to be all right. I don't know if they will change it, but at the moment there is no requirement that the funds have to be old and stuff like that. So I think you'll be fine. But hey, look, you're an AJV student, and if you want more information, just connect with Mary and she will discuss with me, and I'll give you personalized AJV student, AJV client information. So not to worry about it. Okay, you enjoy yourself in Nelson, and don't worry about all these migration problems. When you chose AJV, all your migration problems were sorted out. We're there to help you. Don't worry about it. Okay, yeah. Right. Okay, Paul is saying hi to Elias, and they seem to know each other. Good on you guys. See how good we are. We are even bringing old friends back together. Awesome. Okay. Right. Praveet Kumar says, sir, I have received my student visa for 1 year, although my course is for 4 years. How can I get my visa extension? Good question. You will have to obviously apply at least 1 to 1.5 months before your first year visa expires. And for you to get your second year visa, you will obviously need to pay your second year fees and put that receipt. Plus also prove you have been a good student in the first year, which means no bunking, getting the minimum attendance, and also passing your papers and all that stuff. So basically, and not working more than the required number of hours as specified on your student visa. So do not breach any visa conditions on your student visa. Pay your fees, get the fee receipt about 1.5 months before your current student visa expires, and also make sure that you have good attendance and that you're passing all the courses. And if you still need help with that, contact Mary Joseph, my colleague, and we will be able to assist you with your student visa. Of course, we will charge a professional fee for it, but more than happy to assist you guys. We keep doing it for our students all the time who have come for a bachelor's course. So about 1.5, 2 months before their first year is getting over, they come to us, and then we help them to do the second year and the third year visas. So no problem, but be a good student. Please do not do anything stupid or silly. And especially, unfortunately, I'm coming across a lot of incidents of students getting into drink driving trouble. So be careful about those things, because one adverse remark and you'll probably not get another visa in New Zealand. So be careful about those. Okay. Right. Jay Srivastava, also, how does PR system work? I mean, the process I heard about PR points based on what you earn. Also, does it depend on what you're studying, as if you belong to skill shortage area? I mean, absolutely. Well, studying in a skill shortage area has definite advantages. There are something called bonus points, and for doing a course in the skill shortage area, and also eventually when you get into a job, if you are able to actually hang on, I think they've removed the points now for courses from the skill shortage area. So I retract that statement. But there are definitely bonus points for finding employment in the skill shortage area. So being in a skill shortage area definitely has got advantages. So absolutely, sticking to skill shortage areas is a good idea. And also, as I said, it will all depend on you getting a job, but being in a skill shortage area is a definite advantage. All right. Right, Pinso John, I asking for my friend. He completed BCom. He interested to study culinary arts. Any chance to get visa? Pinso, I think this is the second or third time you're writing saying this is for your friend. I'm beginning to think if your friend's name is Pinso John. So just wondering. But yeah, no problem. If it is a person with a Bachelor of Commerce background who wants to do a course in culinary, I do not see any problem with that, because, hey, look, a lot of people want to change their interest. I mean, I did my BCom as well. I did a BCom honors when I was, back in university, back in India. And after I finished those 3 years of BCom honors, I realized I didn't understand a word of BCom honors. So I didn't remember which side was debit and which side was credit. So, and then I realized all I wanted to be was in the creative industry. And I really was actually trying to get into MA in mass communication back in India. Unfortunately, that did not happen, and I ended up becoming a licensed immigration advisor. Look at how life takes you round and round in different circles. But yeah, absolutely no problem. But of course, we need to assess to see that if a person has got an interest in cooking, he would have done something to show that he's got that interest in it. So as assessing officers, we will ask him a few questions and probably ask for some proof of his interest in that particular area. And yeah, we've helped hundreds of students who had no connection between what they studied and the course they're coming for, as long as we were able to establish a genuine connection and a genuine interest, and convince a visa officer why a visa should be given. And we are very good at it. I mean, I don't want to sound boastful, but we are very, very good in our visa processes. We got an 89% visa approval rate last year from Immigration Department. I personally was not very happy that we did not cross the 90%, but I think we missed that 90% by a small margin of one application perhaps. So I have told the team this year that we need to hit 95% or more. So we are gunning for it. And also, of course, our numbers are also going up. And as numbers go up and trying to maintain the quality of the applications and the success rate is going to be a challenge, but we are very committed to it. We want to be right on top of that pile. And so please ask your friend to connect with us. And Pinso, this is my request to you. If you're really concerned for your friend, connect that friend directly to us, because trying to talk to you is like trying to talk through a telephone exchange, which, and sometimes messages get lost. So I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Connect your friend directly to our team, and we'll be happy to assist him or her. And we will take good care of that person. So don't worry about it. But yes, BCom to culinary, no problem. If we are able to see the full story and understand why that person wants to do it, we will definitely help. Not a problem at all. Okay. Right, Jijo, I will connect with Mary. Thanks, Jijo. Yeah, that's what you need to do. Okay. Excuse me. Hi, Arun. Any postgraduate courses for automotive in New Zealand? I think there will be something, Robert. I remember, we exchanged a message a few days ago, and I'm sure we will be able to find something or the other in automotive for you. And like any other country, New Zealand is like any other, developed nation, New Zealand is heavily reliant on automobiles. So there is always a very good demand for someone like yourself. I remember your background because you and I exchanged a couple of messages on Facebook. I think you're in the Middle East and working for BMW or one of those nice big brands, which is great. And, again, because New Zealand is also very heavily dependent on automobiles and vehicles of different, and we don't have a great railway network in New Zealand. So everything has to happen by road in New Zealand. There's a railway network is quite limited. So there's a heavy reliance on roads and automobiles and vehicles. So I think you will do well if you come to New Zealand. Well, as regards a postgraduate course in automotive, I can't think of something off the top of my head, but because you posted your question, I will ask my team to research and come back to you with some suggestions. And I've already told you why you need to come through a course because, and I remember this, I think I sent you a link saying if you're married, come with your wife, and you wrote back saying, no, I'm single. So I immediately posted another link saying, okay, well, if you're single, consider the pathway through education for single people. So yeah, it'll be awesome to welcome you to New Zealand because I think there's always a requirement. In fact, yesterday I was at my service showroom because I took my car for its last free service. I know you're a BMW guy. I drive a Mercedes, but yeah, they're very well organized, the automobile showrooms and the service levels and everything. And I think you will definitely find a good opportunity. So do come here on a student visa and come for a course which will also give you a post-study work visa. And I'm quite certain that you should be able to find your path because you obviously also have very good experience. And yeah, if you come in as an AJV student, we will also connect you to our contacts in the industry and hopefully you'll go forward from there. All the best. Right, Paul has written again. My company in Rotorua, which is takeaway claims they can help in PR. Is that possible or better? Is this true? Well, I mean, it is not whether the company is a takeaway or whether it's a dairy or whether it is a Fonterra or whether it is IBM. It is not about the size of the company. It is how sustainable is their claim that they can give you full-time employment. Is it a company that actually has got it could be a dairy store. I know a lot of students have got their residency by showing themselves as managers of dairies, which, as you know, are those little stores which are like small supermarkets in each neighborhood. So that's what a dairy is. And I know that a lot of students have managed to get their residency through these things. So it is not whether it's a takeaway. I mean, a takeaway could also be a very successful business. A takeaway could be doing a turnover of a couple of $1 million in a year, and they may be in a position to hire 20 people. So it's not whether it's a takeaway or not. I'm sure if it is a well-established company, and most important, they should have good records with IRD. They should have been paying their taxes, and they should not have been in breach of any conditions as an employer. I think that is very important. So if all those things are considered, absolutely possible. But because all these things need to be assessed, I recommend that you connect with Mary Joseph, my senior manager, as well as the LIA in training. Connect with Mary, and after this chat, of course, I will also connect you, or she will pick up the thread from here, and we will assess your documents and take a call. And if it's possible to go ahead for a resident visa, we will certainly tell you about that. Hope that answers it, Paul. Okay. Okay, well, you said what, or will this come with a catch? Yeah, if we do your resident visa application and if it's successful, I will, as a gift, I will want 2 months worth of free takeaways. All right, that's the catch. Sorry, that was just a very bad joke. Hiren, hi, Hiren, hello. Okay, who else says? Okay, Arvind Sundaresan, can I enroll for PhD program after graduate diploma level 7? Maybe not, Arvind, because as you know, the level system is 7 is normally bachelor's and graduate diplomas, and then you have 8, which is postgraduate diplomas, and then there is 9, which is master's, and then there is 10, which is PhD. So you're trying to jump from 7 to 10, which is like a very big jump as far as I can see. So I don't think it is technically possible. I mean, again, PhD is very tough creature, and to be able to crack a PhD, you need to have those, continuous levels of learning and being ability to do research and stuff like that. So I don't think jumping from 7 to 10 would be possible. 7 being your graduate diploma and 10 being a PhD levels as per the NZQF, which is the New Zealand qualifications framework. So I don't think it's possible. So I think, but I'll tell you what, connect with Mary Joseph and we will see what is, if we can plug you into a PG diploma perhaps, and then maybe that PG diploma, which normally is like, PG diploma is normally like the first year of a master's. So, there could be some possibilities. So, and for most of the questions that you guys are asking, it is, practically impossible to give a very direct and detailed answer in this particular chat. But connect with us. This whole idea of this chat is to give you at least some basic information so that you know that you're on the right track. And then we'll pick it up from there. Talk to us then, because going abroad and all this residency migration is not going to be an easy, one-day affair. You and I, we guys will have to talk to each other for months and years together sometimes before you reach from your current position to your desired goal of a residency in New Zealand or a PR in New Zealand. So you'll need to engage with us. I mean, it's great that you're starting by being part of this FB Live session, but later you'll need to connect with us and we need to talk to you a lot more and gather a lot of information, and then we'll be able to provide you with that information. But 7 to 10 sounds impossible at straight look, so I think you need to talk to us and we will figure out what are your next steps. But most important, you need to have a very clear idea as to what your research proposal is going to be, and you need to have exceptionally good writing skills. Excuse me. So you need to have exceptionally good writing skills, and so yeah, hope you're prepared with all this stuff. Okay. Satish Kumar, hi Jacob. All right, some guys trying to call me in the middle of that, which is please don't call me, guys, because I'm in the middle of a live session. So it's not only rude, it will also interrupt my chats with everybody else. Thank you. Okay. Hardik Diora, hi. There are any job opportunity in mechatronic after completing graduate diploma in mechatronic level 7? I think so. Hardik, I think mechatronics is again one of those very exciting fields which marries mechanical engineering with electronics, and which is why it's called mechatronics. So I think it's a very exciting field, and I think there would definitely be opportunities. Again, as I keep saying, that we don't have a very large industry in New Zealand, but you're not looking at 10 jobs, you're looking at 1 job. So I think there certainly would be some opportunities. It's a good course to choose actually, and straight away at the top of my mind, I can think of an institution called Wellington Institute of Technology, which we work with and we represent, and we've had very good outcomes for our students from Welltech who have gone for mechatronics. I believe it's also available in a couple of other polytechnics, but I can't remember it right away. But yeah, mechatronics is a good field, and I believe you will have a good opportunity going forward, because mechatronics, I think, would also come under engineering, under the broader framework. And as you are aware, more practically all engineers are in the long-term skill shortage in New Zealand. So I think, yeah, mechatronics is a good course to choose. If you have not already decided and you're still working with somebody, decide to work with us, because one thing is choosing a good course and a good college and coming to New Zealand. But I think what is also important is that you need good local support from people like us. See, look, I'm sitting right now in New Zealand. I'm in Hamilton in my office and talking to you guys. And, for some of you who have come to New Zealand through our company, till in the middle of the night, people keep calling me on my phone or text and all that. And the moment we see it, we call them back and we give them advice. So there are 3-4 important things for you to be successful in, not only in New Zealand, but any country you go to, is that choose the right course, choose the right college. You need to be smart yourself. You need to have the right attitude, skills, and knowledge. And I think the last component, which is very important, is to have a good advisor like AJV onshore, because we guys have been living here. We have a contact network, like how I mentioned Robert, who has got a background in automobile engineering. Only yesterday I was at my, my service center. So it will be so easy for us by virtue of our network to connect someone like Robert to people we already know in the industry. So work with us and we will ensure that your mechatronics course will lead to a good, successful outcome as well. Thank you. Right. Sunita Malkani says, great session, very informative. Thank you very much, Sunita Malkani. Appreciate that. Yeah, we try to please. Hiren D. Jariwala, hello, sir. I'm master in civil engineering, level 9, according to NZ. Suppose I could not get 6.5 band in IELTS. Will it possible to get level 7 or 8 course at IELTS 6 band? 5.5 in speaking, course like postgraduate diploma. Now, there is a table which actually says, okay, give me a second, guys. I'm just bringing up this table. Sorry, your question again was, I could not get 6.5 band in IELTS and you're looking for a level 9, okay? Will it be possible to get a, okay, now let me tell you what you need for a level 9. For a level 9, you need an academic score of 6.5 in IELTS with no band lower than 6. So that's what you need for level 9, okay? Now, if you're looking at a level 7, you need an academic score of 6 with no band score lower than 5.5. So coming back to your question, you have, yeah, so that's what it is. So to be able to get into level 7, you need 6 overall with no band lower than 5.5. And to get into level 9, you need to get 6.5 with no band lower than 6. So that's the answer. And I think you need to connect with us, and we will also assess other aspects, because it's not just the IELTS in most instances. You also have to have the right percentage to be able to get an admission into the right institution. So I suggest you connect with us, and after this chat, my team will connect with you as well. And hey guys, all of you who are planning to come to New Zealand for the July, August, September, or October, November intake, December intake, please talk to us now. I mean, it's not like I'm sitting here and soliciting your business, but as I know a lot of you guys are putting in a ton of energy and money and effort and emotions, and a lot of investment is going into this. So don't land in New Zealand and say, oh, I don't have the right advisor now to help me, because of what a lot of companies do is they'll do a good job with your admission and your visa. They'll put you on a plane, wave you goodbye, maybe even give you a good gift and send you away to New Zealand. And after that, you will never hear back from them. But the problem is that the real drama starts after you land in New Zealand. It starts from the moment you step into the step off the plane at the airport. And that is when you guys really need the really strong supporting hand around your shoulders here in New Zealand. And that is the USP of AJB, is that we are here for you guys. And I kid you not, but if I get a phone call right now in the middle of a live session, and if one of our students says, hey, look, I'm in trouble, I will stop this session, one or two of us will get into our cars and drive and ensure that this person is taken care of if it's something that needs such kind of urgent attention. And practically every day we keep getting calls and emails from our students saying, especially when it comes to jobs and other things, they constantly keep asking us, saying, what about this, what about that? And we're constantly going on giving them very good advice and free advice, and telling them what they need to do. Sometimes we even pick up the phone and talk to their employers and explain to them how giving them a job will not hurt the company's interest, but will actually help them. And sometimes a lot of employers are apprehensive, saying, oh, but I don't mind giving this guy a job, but I don't know how the visa process works. So I get on the phone or send an email and explain as a licensed immigration advisor and once I do that explanation, it's very cool. So you guys will require a lot of support. So I would strongly recommend work with AJV, because we are committed to you guys and we are very keen to help you guys. And do not land here through some other agencies and then knock at our doors and say, but I want your help. We will help you, but we will charge you for that. Whereas for AJV students, and we charge $300 per hour at the minimum as our fees. That's how expensive it can be to take a good professional advice in New Zealand. But for AJV students, I think we give them hours of unlimited advice. And that's the big advantage for you guys. So please consider working with AJV. Right. Bhagirath Singh Solanki. Hello, sir. How are you? Happy to see you on Facebook Live. Thank you. First time. I hope it's going well. Guys, I hope it's going well. Maybe you should leave some comments to say that it's all going well so that I know that I'm doing a good job. By the way, I just came back from a night trek, so I'm still in my sweaty clothes. I hope some of you don't think it's too informal. Next time I'll hold a tie in my hand to say that I also have some formal clothes around. Okay. Right. Bhagirath Singh wants to know which course is best for further study at New Zealand after completion of MBA in India. Please suggest me the best course. I mean, Bhagirath, if you are somebody, I mean, this is again a tricky question to answer because we don't have enough information. I don't know what your degree is before you did your MBA. I don't know whether you did a BTech or a BCom or a BSc or BA. I don't know what your bachelor's was before you did your MBA. Now, if your bachelor's was a technical course, like a BTech and let's say civil engineering or mechanical engineering, I would strongly encourage you to get back into the technical course because we in New Zealand or in most Western countries require technical people. Not that we don't require people with a business background, but as I told you before, we want people also from a business background, but with good experience. You know, those are the ones who will be able to go and crack a job. But those who come from a technical background, even if they do not have a lot of experience, I think are much better place to be able to crack jobs and then move into a field. So if I from your question, I can't make out whether your bachelor's was in technology or arts or science or whatever. So if you had a strong bachelor's in technology in a technical area, I would strongly recommend you get back into that. If you can't, if you're already committed in your life and in your career towards business, then come for another course in business. Again, you just written MBA. You have not mentioned whether you've specialized in HR or finance or marketing or one of those, electives you get in an MBA. You have not mentioned that. So again, this is another very typical case where we need to speak to you. We need to gather more information and have a chat. So after this live session is over, we will talk to you. We will connect with you. And guys, everybody who's following this, once our team is trying to connect, please don't act like shy brides. Please connect with them because this is not something that we are trying desperately to get your business. Please understand it's a matter of your own future and your careers. We get enough inquiries. We get enough business guys. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm just telling you that we get a lot of them. And when we are trying to reach out to you and if you act shy or not willing to share your numbers and stuff like that, we will absolutely ignore you and move on to the next person. But we are doing this as much to grow our own business, but also for your own futures, guys, because if you're going to be coming to New Zealand and you're going to be part of this society and to be, in this country, I'm sure we'll bump into each other someday or the other. And we are very keen to create a good community of our students who feel well catered to, well advised, well supported, who will walk up to us with a smile on your face and say, thank you very much for everything you've done for me. So please stay connected with our team and see, Bhagirath is a very classic example of having to know a lot more detail and then being able to suggest what will be the best option for him. But it could be a technical course or it could be a business course. We will be able to say that, Bhagirath, once we get more information from you. So please connect with the team as soon as you can. Okay. Ivan Thomas. Hello, Ivan, my first UK client. How are you, my friend? I hope you're all well. And yeah, I hope you still have good memories of New Zealand. It's lovely to see you online. And yeah, if you have any questions, please ask. But otherwise, hello to you and your girlfriend. And I hope both of you are doing well. And I hope we get to see you in New Zealand very soon. Ivan, by the way, guys, was my first client from UK. So yeah, I hope to see him in New Zealand, trying very hard to bring him here. Let's see if we can do it together. All right, Ivan, catch you later, mate. Nitin Balla, hi, Arun. Okay, guys, I need to take a break and drink some water, man. Well, it's good to see. It's good to see that there's a lot of interest and obviously goes to prove that there is a gap in the market somewhere for genuine information. And I don't know if Facebook Live goes on for a couple of hours, but I'm happy to keep talking. Actually, I have some water here. Okay, awesome. Oh, I am well prepared for this. Okay, cool. Nitin Bala, hi Arun. Finally, we have selected Management Level 8 PG course. I have 2 questions. What is the future as it is not in skill category, job opportunities in management? Nitin, I have made a video which says, check my YouTube channel. It says clearly what happens if you are choosing to come on a course in a course which is not in the skill shortage list? I mean, it's not possible that everybody coming to New Zealand will choose or opt for only a course that is in the skill shortage list. So that's something you guys will have to get over. Does not matter. I don't come from a long-term skill shortage background. I came with a BCom honors into New Zealand, and day in and day after, day out, we get a lot of students and clients who are coming with commerce backgrounds and arts backgrounds and other backgrounds which are not in the skill shortage area. So it's not a question of whether that particular course is the skill shortage area or not. And especially in management, because management is such a vast area, I do believe that the opportunities were also much wider than, in certain other areas. So not being in the skill shortage area does not mean that you will not find a job, does not mean that you will not get residency. I kid you not, but today in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, I went and dropped a big bunch of papers, which was the resident visa application for one of my students who came to do a postgraduate diploma in management in New Zealand. She was one of our students. I think she went to an institution called Unitec, and she found herself a job as a customer service manager. That's because she had experience in the Middle East before she came to New Zealand for this course. She came here along with her husband, who also has a background in business. She found a job as a customer service manager, pay of $60,000. Her husband found a job as a supply chain manager, I think pay off around $75,000 or $80,000. Well said. And just in the afternoon today, I went and dropped their set of documents, which is their resident visa application. So definitely scope for people from a management background or a commerce background or a business background. But as I keep saying and reiterating all the time, it is good for people who are coming for management and business courses to be able to come here with some work experience behind you, because that work experience would have built up your confidence and your ability to sit in front of an employer and talk confidently and crack it off. So that's the key. But yeah, as long as you get a job which is at the right level and at the right pay scale, you will get those required number of points to be able to make an application for a resident visa. So not to worry about. I think you'll be just fine, Nitin, and from your style of writing and your good English skills, I think you'll be just fine. So not to worry. Welcome to New Zealand. Right. Praveen Pavitran. Sir, what about the job opportunities after doing PG Diploma Earth Science in New Zealand? I'm a geology graduate. Excellent question, Pavin. It's probably very rare to come across a geology graduate because mostly it is guys asking us questions about business and IT and culinary arts and creative stuff like 3D animation and stuff like that. So it's very cool to speak to somebody with a geology background. Excellent course choice. Being a geology graduate, you will know that New Zealand sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, which means we are a very geologically active kind of a country, and there is a lot of geological action happening all the time, and which is why I think some of our universities, one I can think of right away, which is the University of Canterbury, I think has evolved some fantastic departments in geology. So I do believe that you will do well by coming to do a course in geology, earth sciences in New Zealand. I'm not sure if it is in the long-term skill shortage list. I can't recollect right now, but I think it is. I remember seeing something called the CAD Astral Surveyor, which I think comes under geology. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think there is a very good opportunity for people from your field, geology and earth science. I think you should consider it very seriously, and we can recommend a couple of very good universities, and I think it's a very good subject. And most importantly, it's not just your requirement. I think as a country, we would like to attract people from your subject as well into New Zealand. So even after you come and finish your studies, and if you find a relevant job. And I think there'll be good job opportunities as well, especially, excuse me, in a place like Christchurch or the South or Kaikoura, where we recently had some more seismic activity. I think you would be able to find good opportunities in your field. So I think you should consider it seriously, but have a chat with our team and we will explore what are the real opportunities and do some more research and give you the options as well. Okay. Hope I answered that. All right. But great subject, man. I mean, one of my, I used to do a lot of reading in my younger days, and one of my favorite books till date remains Goodbye California by Alistair MacLean. And it was all about earthquakes. And in that book, I learned about, I think I was a young kid, maybe 14 or 15 years old. But that book taught me all about tectonic plates and all that tsunamis and all that kind of stuff. And I think at heart, I think geography and geology was probably my favorite subject as well. So very good course choice. All right. We hope to see you here in New Zealand. Is diabetes affect? A good question, actually. Very good question. Because I was having a chat with my colleague Mary in the evening about we have a term in our migration industry called ASH, ASH, which stands for Acceptable Standard of Health. So when we are talking in our jargon, we say, is he ash or is he not ash, which is not the color of the person. We are talking about whether that person has got an acceptable standard of health or does not have an acceptable standard of health. Diabetes in itself may not be a problem, because I mean, but it depends on what level of it and all that. And I shouldn't comment on it because I'm not a medical professional, but there is also a list of certain diseases and afflictions that the government considers as probable scenarios where you might end up becoming a burden on the health system of New Zealand. Now, again, Alfred, your question is not clear because you said, is diabetes a factor? Is it for us as a migration professional? I need to look at, is it a factor for temporary entry or residency is something that we need to be aware of, because by and large for temporary entry, it's not a massive factor. It could be if your diabetes is way out of control. But for temporary entry, by and large, ASH is not very rigid. But for residency, we can, the immigration department can get quite rigid. And of late, I've noticed that quite a lot of medical cases, quite a lot of visa application cases are also being referred to somebody called the medical assessor, who does a more in-depth analysis than the clinic or hospital that is doing your medical examination. So yeah, it could be a factor, but again, connect with us, connect with Mary Joseph, and we will get some details from you, and then we will run it by the list we have. And then, like I said, as I've been saying throughout the evening, we need to gather more information before we can give you a substantial answer and say, hey, look, this is worth trying or not worth trying. But yeah, do connect with us. But diabetes in itself, I've seen, some of our student clients who've had those borderline diabetes, they're fine. They've managed to get the visa. So I don't think it's a factor if it is for a temporary entry visa. But for a resident visa, it could be a factor. But like I said, we will examine and see. We will advise you, and we'll be very honest and tell you whether it's worth taking the chance or not taking the chance. So do connect with Mary. Thank you. Okay, Christian Emmanuel. Hi, Arun. Do you think it's possible to do internship at construction company? In the case that I can get working holiday visa, work visa. I don't know which country you're from, Christian. I can't make out from, because I'm not getting into the details of all you guys, but I mean, yeah, why not? Even if you're coming on a working holiday visa to New Zealand, and if you have adequate background in construction, and why just internship? You might even get paid work, So because we do have a construction boom happening in the country. I'm sure you guys have heard about the Christchurch reconstruction. We had a big earthquake in Christchurch a few years ago, so that city is still being rebuilt, and it is pretty big. That whole rebuild, it's I think running into a few $1 billion. Auckland is bursting at the seams because we're getting a lot of people coming into New Zealand at the moment, largely thanks to work of people like myself. There are a lot of temporary and permanent migrants coming to New Zealand. So because of that, there's also a massive construction boom happening all across New Zealand, especially in Auckland, which is our largest city. Where I live in a city called Hamilton. So that way is the north of the city, and like few years back, it used to be all agricultural land. But today, when I take the car and drive that way, it's incredible. I can't believe the amount of houses that are being built in a small town like Hamilton. And we are only a 150,000 people city, but I am absolutely blown away by the amount of construction work that's happening in a small city like Hamilton. There was a problem in my house with the hot water cylinder, and I had to call an electrician to, or as we call them a Sparky here. I was trying to get hold of a Sparky to come and fix some electrical problem. Absolutely difficult to find a tradesperson because they're all busy on this construction site. So good field right now to pursue in New Zealand, whether you're coming for a working holiday visa and want to do an internship or a full-fledged job. I think it's a very good field to consider right now, which is why we strongly encourage our students who are coming for courses in construction, saying, yeah, good time, come over to New Zealand because we require a lot of construction professionals. Okay. Okay, Harsh Kumar, how many funds are required for New Zealand? I think we require a few $1 billion, Harsh, yeah. I think we require but I think if your question is how many funds are required for you to get a visa to come to New Zealand, I think that's the question you're trying to ask. Depends, we don't know what visa you're looking for. Are you looking for a student visa, or are you looking for a visitor visa, or I don't know what visa? You did not mention that. You only wrote how many funds are required for New Zealand. So we'll need to get more information from you, gather more information, and then based on that, we will be able to advise you. If it is a student visa, normally it's the tuition fees, which is approximately about $20,000 approximately. There could be courses less or more, and you need to show $15,000 as living expenses for each year you're going to study in New Zealand. I think that's going to be revised because I was at a conference in immigration and education conference in Auckland last week, and I met some very senior immigration officers, and one of them, the lady who heads one of the area offices here in New Zealand, she's one of the top immigration officers. She also did a presentation, and she said that that is definitely under review. The living expenses for students, I think, is being reviewed, and I think it's going to go up. So yeah, I don't know what visa you're mentioning in your question, but if it is student visa, it's the tuition fees plus $15,000 right now. If it is reviewed and it goes up by $3,000 or $4,000, that might be the case. But if we were talking about some other visa, like dependent visa or whatever, it depends on what visa you're looking at. So please specify your question, and we should be able to give you particular specific answers. If not in this session, we will connect with you later and, of course, talk to you again. Right, guys, there are quite a lot of people. How do I know, man? How many people are watching this? Is it 78? Okay, 78 comments. Okay, yeah, all right. Right, does it show somewhere how many people are watching this? I can't. Okay, yeah, right. Robin Joseph, hello, sir. I'm about to complete my bachelor's in political science and looking forward to pursue a master's in political science, international relations. Can you please enlighten me with the suggested universities along with an average tuition fees across these universities and also the scholarship opportunities? Thanks in advance. Hey, Robin, good course choice. International relations. Okay, somebody typed to me. One of my very helpful team members has typed that there are 20 people watching this session right now. Man, you guys are asking a lot of questions for 20 people. You're keeping me busy. Okay, coming back to Robin. Robin, bachelor, you have a bachelor's in political science. I'm looking forward to pursue a master's in political science. Fantastic course. Again, say this would come under arts, and again, it's not a skill shortage list thing and all that. Doesn't matter. It's about your genuine interest and your real passion. And if I had like a half a chance, I'd probably leave this live session and come and go into the same course that you're doing, because I have a lot of interest in international relations as well. And geopolitics is of particular interest to me, and I keep following I'm a voracious watcher of BBC and CNN and Fox News and all those kinds of channels, and I'm constantly trying to understand the political situations. It was a fantastic course choice. Congratulations. And straight away, Victoria University of Wellington comes to mind. It has got a fantastic political science department. Plus, remember, it's also located in our capital city in Wellington, which is where the big political scenario is in New Zealand. So I would strongly recommend Victoria University at Wellington. Average tuitions, again, a master's, if it's 1 year, so I think you're probably looking out around $25,000 again. But like I said, my team will come back and give you very specific details about that. We will connect with you, so please connect back with us. Scholarships, I think I posted I did a post in our group, in the same group, about scholarships recently. Not a whole lot of scholarships, to be honest, in New Zealand. There are some. Have a look. We are currently running our own scholarship scheme in AJV, so please connect with us and we will give you some details about that. But good course choice, Robin. International relations and political science, I think, has got a lot of scope. Also because New Zealand is changing so dramatically as a country with all this migration. And right now, our Prime Minister is in Europe right now. She is, I think she just finished meeting the French president, and today she had a meeting with Angela Merkel. I was watching news in the evening. So we are also beginning to get active politically as a country as well. I mean, I know we are very tiny and small, and we don't really mean a lot in the big world picture. But we do stand for some very strong values, like non-proliferation is something that we are very big on, and a lot of other things that New Zealand is very, very keenly. I think we punch way above our weight in terms of the global arena as well. So good course choice. Victoria University at Wellington would be a fantastic choice for you. Our team will connect and give you details about our scholarship and also any other scholarships. So please do connect with the team. All right. Yeah, cool. Subhash Adhikari, is there a point for superior English level? Furthermore, how likely is to get PR for 110 points? I think, Subhash, what you're asking is if you get points towards residency, if you have a good IELTS or PTA score. No, there are no points for English score. It is just a prerequisite. You need to have the required English score, which is 6.5 in IELTS to be, and or the equivalent in PTA. So that's what you need to have to qualify to be able to apply for residence. If you have studied in New Zealand in a course of a particular level, then that English and for a particular duration, then the English requirement kind of gets met automatically. So that's what it is. So no points for English, but it is a prerequisite. So you will need to have that. And also, if you're married and if your spouse is coming, he or she, will also need to have that required IELTS score. How likely is it to get PR for 110 points? You want my honest answer? That's how likely it is. 0. Because the current selection point is 160 points. And the higher you go above 160 is when you get a much better chance of being picked from the pool. At 110, frankly, it is one big fat 0. Although technically, once you cross 100, you can put in something called an expression of interest. So if you want to very generously contribute some money to the government of New Zealand, put an expression of interest. But if you're not in a charitable mood, don't take the chance, because it's going to be a waste of your money, time, and effort. At 110, you have absolutely 0 chances. So if you're still outside the country and you're keen to do it, you need to come into the country, and which is what I keep saying. Come for a course, do the course, get your post-study work visa, get a job, and that job will give you that extra 50 points that you require. And if you get the job outside Auckland, you could get 50 for the job plus 30 for being outside Auckland. So suddenly from 110, you will jump to 190, which means now there, absolutely you will stand a huge, big chance of being picked from the pool for residency. So that's how you guys need to plan. Sitting outside New Zealand with 110 points and hoping to get residency, absolute pipe dream. Don't even do it. you'll just waste your time. Come into New Zealand, come on a student visa, do a good course, work with a good company like AJV, get your post-study work visa, get a job, preferably outside Auckland, and that's when you'll get to the point of applying for a residency. And it's not very difficult, nor is it too long. A couple of years, and you could be reaching that point. And I'm sure most of you guys who are talking to me right now, we are all in your 20s or 30s. So absolutely go for it, guys. I moved to New Zealand, I think, when I was 33 or 34. I think, yeah, that's when I think I moved to New Zealand. I'm so glad I did it. So don't wait too long. Do it also while you're still young, and then you can take it forward from there. Okay, cool. I mean, Nayani, how can someone get PR of New Zealand if he is an Australian PR? You have to first defeat us in rugby, my friend. That is number one. Okay, sorry. I was just joking. But you know how the big rivalry is between Australia and New Zealand about rugby and cricket. You guys keep smashing us in cricket and we will smash you in rugby each time. So, yeah. So you beat us in rugby for 3 games straight and we'll give all of you a PR in New Zealand. Okay, that was just joking. But yeah, I mean, it will be the same as any other person applying for a residency process in New Zealand. Being an Australian permanent resident does not give you any big advantage when you're applying for a resident visa in New Zealand. It is pretty much still the same. When you get Australian citizenship, of course, and if you're on a Aussie passport, is when you get certain rights in New Zealand. But otherwise, it's just the normal process like anybody else. So hope that answers. And remember, rugby, you got to beat us in that. Koye Yent, hi Arun, greetings from Dubai. Hi Ko, greetings from Hamilton. And thanks for all your messages. I enjoy reading your messages and responding to them. I hope you enjoy all the chatter in our group as well. This is my first experiment at a live conversation. Hopefully, hopefully you guys are finding it useful. Right. Mr. Arun, it's 1:27 a.m. in New Zealand. Why you're not sleeping? Yeah, thanks to all you guys. Good question, actually. But I do actually start work only at about 4 o'clock New Zealand time, in all seriousness, because that is when my team in India, which is the majority of our team, is based in India. A few of us are based in New Zealand, and there is one person based in Dubai. And so for 2 reasons, I work very late into the evening, because New Zealand is the country that wakes up first. Actually, we should be called the land of the rising sun and not Japan. So we guys wake up first ahead of practically everybody else. And so by the time my team in India wakes up, it's almost 4 o'clock in New Zealand already. So I tend to start my work at that time, and also my other colleagues in New Zealand. So we are living in New Zealand, but we are practically working to India time. That's because the majority of our clients come from India. So we need to be, in fact, that's the reason I also started this session at 1 o'clock my time in New Zealand, because that's after 6 o'clock in India and other parts of the world, which means you guys would have hopefully finished your work and come back home and are able to follow this live chat. And that's the reason I did that. So that's the reason I'm still awake at 1:30, man. I wish I could live a normal life like everybody else, but somebody has got to work hard to bring in high quality migrants into New Zealand, and that's the reason I'm awake. But hey, thanks for your concern. I appreciate it. Okay. And then Christian writes, you look tired. That's because I went for a bloody trek in the evening. I just climbed 1,500 steps to the top of a little mountain that is outside Hamilton, and I have been busy attending conferences last week in Auckland, and for 2 weeks I haven't been doing my workout, and that's why I'm still in my trekkies, and so I just climbed 1,500 steps and down again and drove back, and then quickly had my dinner, and then I started this session. No wonder I'm looking tired. But thanks for the concern. What is the scope of computer science if I do bachelor in computer science from New Zealand? From Aimal Amir. Hi, Aimal. Good question. And computer science is in our long-term skill shortage list as an absolutely good course to choose. I also like people who come for bachelor's courses, because you will be here for 3 years minimum, plus 1 extra year post-study work visa. Sometimes your bachelor's could be 4 years plus 1, so 4 plus 1, 5, or 3 plus 1, 4 years. I like people who come for bachelor's because you're showing a very deep commitment towards good quality education in a good country like New Zealand in the first instance. And when you stay in this country for 3 to 4 years, you become like a Kiwi. You become one of the local population. So practically, when you go for an interview and you're sitting across the table with that prospective employer after you complete your course, not only is computer science in our long-term skill shortage area, which means the opportunities are good, but also because you've lived in this country for 3 to 4 years as a student, and you probably were doing part-time work. And if, let's say, if you're working as a checkout operator or some other place where you're meeting local Kiwis all the time, you're going to become like a Kiwi yourself. You're going to be talking like one, acting like one, thinking like one, so you pretty much become part of the overall culture and ethos of New Zealand. So that's why I like people who come for bachelors. I've made a video and it's there on my YouTube channel. Have a look at it. About why it is such a big advantage to come for a bachelor's. And as regards computer science, absolutely go for it. Like I said, it is in our long-term skill shortage list and very good opportunities. Plus, if you work with a company like AJV, we are there to hold your hand all the way and assist you, connect you to a lot of our students who have successfully completed courses in IT and very well established into companies. In fact, some of them are in senior positions, and hopefully 1 or 2 of them will also become advisors to all the youngsters and newcomers who are coming in this field. And that's another thing which we guys do, is to constantly keep using our old student network, our client network, to give more inputs to all the newcomers. So we're trying to create that ecosystem as well, where all of you benefit from the experience of our old clients as well as our immigration expertise. And I think we're also a very friendly company, even if I'm saying it myself, but we do work with you like your friends, and we will guide you guys. So yeah, good choice, Aimal. Please come to New Zealand as a bachelor's student, and computer science is a great subject to choose. We can suggest some really good universities for you. So Kelvin Chan, still waiting for one of your agents to get back to me, lol. Nishanti, if you're watching this, can you please connect with Kelvin right now? Kelvin, I'm sorry that you had to wait for one of my team members to connect with you. Normally, they are very onto it, but because, as I said, we get a lot of inquiries on a daily basis. Each and every one of you is important, so I don't want to sound like a yeah. Nishanti just wrote to me on Skype saying she's going to connect. So sorry about the delay, but sometimes due to human error, some of your inquiries will get mixed up with the whole bag of inquiries we get. But please bring it to our notice, guys. Every time we are trying to reach us and we are not responding, please post it on this group and shout at us if you like, saying what's wrong with you people. How many times do I have to inquire with you? Right, because we need that little kick on the backside as well sometimes to wake up. So please feel free. Kelvin, you'll be contacted hopefully in the next 5-10 minutes, okay? So please be patient. Although it's beyond work time, even for the team in India, one of them is going to contact you. So thanks for being patient, and thanks for still being part of this group. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Priya Arora, lots of people say that New Zealand employers do not prefer Indians as their employees. They only prefer people of their own kind to offer jobs. Is that true? Priya, if that was true, I won't be living in New Zealand, to be honest, because before I started my own business and become an advisor for education and migration to New Zealand, I did 2 jobs in New Zealand. My first job was here in Hamilton. I worked for a company which made medical software, and I was their marketing manager. And then I moved to another company in Auckland, which was into internet security solutions, and I joined that company as well as a marketing manager. And There are hundreds and thousands of Indians who are gainfully employed in New Zealand. My wife is employed in a good company. My hundreds of my friends and known people, my students, and everybody is employed. So it is, there will be some frustrated people who have been trying for jobs and, excuse me, don't get it. They are the guys who will write things like New Zealand employees do not prefer Indians as their employees. Maybe they do not prefer Indians as their employees, but do they have a choice is the question. There is a shortage of workers in New Zealand, and Indians and Chinese are the largest group of people coming into the country. And if Indians are able to work hard and speak well and present themselves well, does a New Zealand employer have a choice? Is he going to say, oh, I don't like Indians, so I will not pick somebody from this community and see his own, his own profits go down? I don't think any employer thinks like that. I think in New Zealand is a fair working place, and everybody is given an equal opportunity. If you're saying there is subtle racism, if an employer who is of a European background or any other background is not considering an Indian employee, I mean, there could be the odd case, but by and large, frankly, I think everywhere we go in New Zealand, and I'm not making this up, everywhere we go, from those demonstrators in the shopping malls to the checkout operators in the shopping malls to managers of good stores in the shopping malls to senior people in government to senior executives in good companies, everywhere there are Indians, there are Chinese, there are Brazilians, there are Vietnamese, everybody is there, so it's kind of too broad to say that New Zealanders don't prefer Indian employees, because if that was the case, I can't be sitting here and telling a lot of other fellow Indians or even people from other countries saying come to New Zealand. The fact of the matter is we are growing as an economy. We want to compete at the global stage. We are a big, massive country. I know a lot of people think we are a tiny little piece of land. We are not. We are as big as Japan, or as big as the state of California, or as big as United Kingdom in geographical size. We are so big, we could probably accommodate 20 million people in this country. We only have 4.2 or 4.3 million people in this country at this moment, which means we need a lot of workforce. And some other countries have to supply this workforce. And the two largest source countries in the world are India and China. So most countries, whether it is New Zealand or Australia or UK or Canada or US, whoever need workers, they have to import them from some other countries. And India and China, being the two largest countries, will send in their, people like all of you, myself included, all of us, so many good Chinese friends I have. We all came because it is not just a desire from our side. There is also a need from these countries, especially small countries like New Zealand. There is a shortage of workers in these countries. That is why there is this. Why would a country have an active migration policy? Tell me that. That's the question you need to ask yourself. There is an active migration. The government of New Zealand has set up a website saying, please come into our countries, come into our country, the immigration website. If you go to it, there's a big bold one saying, what do you want to do in New Zealand? So use your logic. There will be some frustrated souls who did not get a job, or who did not probably present themselves well, or spoke in bad English when they went for an interview. And maybe that guy threw him out and maybe smiled or laughed. And because of that, they will all get onto YouTube and Facebook and saying New Zealand is racist, New Zealand doesn't like Indians, New Zealand does not give chances. That's a lot of nonsense. If you're good, there is a chance for you here. So don't fall for those broad nonsense that people put out there. All right, yeah, all the best. What about the pay rates? Pay rates can be anything from our minimum wage, which went up recently. I think it is now $16.50, something like that. Yeah, it's a minimum wage. I can't recollect right now. I think it's gone up recently. So the minimum has to be the minimum wage legally. That is, and the highest can be $500 an hour. Depends on how good you are. I charge $300 an hour if somebody wants my expertise. Not in this live FB session, of course. Maybe I should have a little, ask one of my programmers to put a pay to watch this live session, but that was just a joke, guys. But if somebody does come to me for professional advice, that's how much I charge. But we have something called the minimum wage in the country, which went up recently. I can't quite remember what it is, but I think it's $16.50. Forgive me if that is not correct. Don't write on various places saying this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm just, it's very late in the night and I'm a bit tired and I can't remember. But the minimum wage is the legal wage you will get. And $16.50, yes, that's correct. See, I have such a beautiful team. They just typed to me saying that I have a little research team working in the background while I'm doing this. So yeah, $16.50 is the minimum wage. It went up recently, and maximum can be anything, you know, like I said. So that's the pay rate, Hatip, and it varies from industry to industry, position to position. But a good software programmer could be earning up to $100 an hour. No problem with that. Yeah. Right, Koyi Yent, my friend, when it comes to study in New Zealand, how likely would you recommend AIS Auckland? Very good institution, by the way. In fact, I'm supposed to go there tomorrow and do a presentation to their students. I was there, I think, about a couple of months ago, and I did a presentation to their students. Very good institution. In my YouTube channel, I have made one video specifically about AIS. AIS, by the way, stands for Auckland Institute of Studies. It's a very good institution. It's a private training establishment. In New Zealand, we have three kinds of institutions. We have universities and institutes of technology, which are both owned by the government and operated by the government. Then we have PTAs, which are private training establishments. AIS is probably one of the most well-respected PTAs in New Zealand. And I personally have a lot of regard for AIS. I think they take very good care of their students. And I have been involved with AIS, I think, from 2004 onwards. So it's almost 14 years of association. In fact, if you go to our website, www.ajv.kiwi, on the homepage, if you scroll down, you will see our board of advisors for AJV. There is one gentleman called Dr. Anatol Bugetsky, who is also one of the advisors shown on our website. He is an ex-director of AIS school, and he is a very dear friend. He now lives in America, and he and I stay in constant touch. And last week, I was in a conference at Auckland, and I met Richard Smith. Richard is kind of the top man at AIS, and Richard and I had a really good conversation. Very nice people, very cordial people, great international team, good campus, and I think a lot of focus on their students as well. So I would strongly recommend AIS. To make it better, come to AIS through AJV. So the AIS-AJV combination will work really, really well for you, and we'll be there to support your course. So yeah, go for it with confidence. Go. Hey Nishanti, how am I doing? I have no idea. I've lost track of time. So just type and tell me how am I doing. Yeah. Munir Buyan, what about doing PhD? Yeah, I think I just answered about 10 minutes, 15 minutes back about PhD. Munir, good opportunity to do PhD in New Zealand. We offer PhD. Okay, Nishanti has written, I'm doing great. Thanks, Nishanti. Yeah. So coming to PhD, I think Munir, good option. I already spoke at length about 10 or 15 minutes back in this session. So if you later, if you rewind and see it, I don't know if this comes as a video. I don't know how Facebook Live works, but I've also made a video on advantages of doing a PhD in New Zealand. That's on my YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube and type Arun Jacob New Zealand, and you should get my channel. And there are advantages, main advantages: you get domestic fees, you get full working rights. If you're coming with your spouse, the spouse gets full working rights. If you're coming with your kids, the two kids get domestic fees. And if your proposal is really good, you might get full scholarship, including living expenses. So those are in a nutshell, the advantages of doing a PhD in New Zealand. We want to attract good researchers, so please consider coming to New Zealand for doing a PhD, and a great environment to do a PhD. This place is so incredibly, so incredibly beautiful. I think it's a fantastic atmosphere to do a PhD in. So, warm welcome. We need PhD researchers, so please connect with my team and we will advise how we can take your next step. Yeah. Tarindo, my friend, is back again. Currently, I got highest marks among all international students for giving the assignments and tests. Well done, Tarindo. You make me proud. Here's a pat on the back. As you always said, I'm focusing on my studies. Good job. You need to focus on your studies. Remember, you're here first as a student. Yeah. Happy to inform I've got a part-time and very good accommodation as well. Very happy to hear that. All because you have chosen the right course for me. That is why I highly recommending AJB. Yay! Thanks, Tarindo. What better, how do I say, endorsement than from our clients. Tarindo is one of our students. He is one of our Sri Lankan clients. And that is one more thing. Guys, we are based in New Zealand and I might have an Indian face, and most of my team may be sitting in India. And they might also have Indian faces, but we are not only catering to Indian clients. Please understand that. We're not. In fact, I can't help the way I look, so, but I'm a Kiwi at heart. This is a New Zealand company sitting in New Zealand, meant for good clients from everywhere across the world. We have been so lucky to work with good quality clients like Tarindo from Sri Lanka. Like Tarindo, we've had a bunch of fantastic, beautiful students and clients from Sri Lanka. We have clients from Pakistan. We have clients from Bangladesh. We have clients from UAE. We have clients from Brazil. There's a lovely couple from Brazil who are our clients, who are in Wellington right now. We've had clients from Egypt. We had clients from Mauritius. We had clients from Singapore. And right now, there are a lot of inquiries from Philippines, some from China as well. So we are not an Indian company catering to Indians. We are a New Zealand company catering to all good quality clients, irrespective of your nationality. We would love to work with you. The majority of our clients, of course, come from India because, as I told you, China and India are the two largest sending countries to not only New Zealand, but to every country across the world. That is the reason we attract a lot of Indian clients, and that is probably why there will be a lot of our Indian friends in this community on our group. But we love to cater to clients from everywhere. So it does not matter which part of the world you are in. Please talk to AJV. We are a New Zealand company. Next time I'll probably put on a Kiwi mask or something, but yeah, please work with us and we would love to work with you. And proud of you, Tarindo. Well done. Very happy to see your progress, and I will come and see you shortly in your city. Okay. You better keep some good Sri Lankan dishes ready for me. Right. Gosh, this is tiring, guys. Right. MIC Derar, please can I can't see clearly what your question is, but it seems to be, can I land without exams, IELTS, how I want to study Master of Pharmacy? MSc, I think English is going to be critical. Oh, by the way, I'm not endorsing that water, guys. Yeah. MSc, I think just from the way you've written that sentence, I would be concerned about your English, and you're saying you want to study a master's in pharmacy. It could be a concern because I don't know if you wrote it, but the way you've written that sentence shows that your English might be a concern. Yes, we will be able to help you to get into a pharmacy course, maybe not into a pharmacy because the seats are quite limited in that particular subject. I don't know if you guys are aware, but we have only 8 universities in New Zealand. And out of that, we don't work with 2 of them. We don't work with University of Auckland, and we don't work with Massey University. We work with all the other beautiful 6 universities. They are amazing. these two universities, we are particularly not very interested to work with them, because when we approached them, they said they already have other people, so they were not very keen to work with them. So we said, okay, it's your loss. We are not very bothered about it, which I really think is a pity for them, because we are doing so well. But and if they want to lose out, not our problem. But coming back to the point I was making, I think your English is a bit of a concern, and my recommendation to you would be to first write an IELTS or PTE, and see what marks you get in that qualifying English exam. Based on that, we will be able to recommend whether you can consider a master's or something lower than that. And if you also rewind this session back, somewhere in the middle of this, I mentioned what is required for a postgraduate diploma or for a graduate diploma. So just rewind it back a little bit. You should be able to see that. But connect with our team and we will advise you. And I can't quite make out which country you're from. Amasi there are, but if you connect with our team, we will also recommend and do some research and recommend where you can probably go for some coaching and improve your English and write your qualifying English exam, and then based on the result, we'll be able to recommend. All right, hope that makes sense. Okay. Okay, Paul, haha, sounds good. I'll wait for Mary's contact through FB. Thank you for answering my question. Welcome, Paul. Marwan Zamani, hi sir. Hi Marwan. Shashwat Acharya. Hi sir, does New Zealand University allow to study for a SEM and then take a break and then again join for the next SEM? Interesting question. Not to the best of my knowledge, unless and until you have, I think, some pressing reasons to ask for that break. Because when you're on the break, I'm just thinking from a migration perspective, technically you are not a student any longer, so your student visa may not be valid. So I don't think it will work out, Shashwat, to be honest. But again, talk to us, connect with us, and we will explore. There might be a university which is giving that option. It's a very good question, by the way, because I actually didn't come across this question before. So thanks for waking me up at 2:40 in the morning. Thank you very much. But we will see if we can find more details. But I think at the outset, I don't think it's possible. But we will explore and we will let you know. Okay. Cool. Malik Tezin sends me a thumbs up. My thumbs up as well, Malik. Dinesh Sharma, hi. Hi, Dinesh. Vishnu Somaraj, hi sir, what are the scopes of civil engineering in New Zealand? And civil is a long-term skill shortage area of New Zealand, but when it comes to getting a job, does experience matter very much in getting a job? Vishnu, I already had a very long answer about civil engineering somewhere in this chat. So if you can rewind and watch, please do that. But yes, civil engineering is in demand. Civil engineering is in the skill shortage area, and there's a lot of requirement. I actually did a long session about how construction is happening all across New Zealand. Good course choice. Civil engineering is in a good demand. Will you get a job with or without experience? Because the demand is so high, I think they're desperate to take people who have the qualification in this particular area. Having said that, I don't want to make it sound very easy. You will still have to keep trying. Excuse me. Because you do not have experience, it might be important that you sound very confident when you sit across the table with an employer for an interview. So work on your communication skills and be confident. Like say right now, when I'm talking to you, I'm looking you in the eye and talking, and my body language, although it's 2:30 in the morning, is reasonably positive and all those kinds of things. You need to work on those areas. But civil engineering is a good subject. We have good demand in New Zealand right now. Tons of construction happening from the north to the south. So there will definitely be scope for you. Connect with our team. And in fact, we have had very good success with civil engineering students. So if you come to New Zealand through AJV, we will connect you to that network of students as well. And I'm sure you'll make some good friends who will also help you to get into a job. Okay, all the best, and please do work with us. Right, Robert, watching from Doha, Qatar. Hi, Robert. Yeah, I think I already knew you were in the Middle East. Paul, I see you give more specific information rather than jabbers. Paul, I'm too tired, man. Don't make me laugh now. Okay, kudos to you for spending your time for us. Now you're welcome, guys. I like doing this. In fact, I keep telling my team this is all I should do. Get on the Facebook Live and talk to you guys and gather 200 inquiries one night and give it to them and they'll deal with it. Okay. How much should I budget to spend for college in New Zealand? How many guys are there right now, Nishanti? I mean, are there anybody or am I actually, like Paul said, I'm just jabbering to an empty forum? Although there are still a lot of questions I can see. How much, sorry, Marwan, how much should I budget to spend for college in New Zealand? At 3 years and degree course in telecommunications engineering. I'm from Ghana. Marwan, for a 3-year course, you will need fees for 3 years. And if you're doing a course like telecommunications engineering, I think there are still 13 people watching, so I will continue with this. If you're planning to do a 3-year course in New Zealand, you will need fees for 3 years and living expenses for 3 years. So fees will be approximately about 25,000 New Zealand dollars and 15,000 living expenses per year is what you need to show. So 40,000 per year into 3 years is 120,000 New Zealand dollars. That's the full amount of money you need to have to show to get your student visa. You don't have to pay all that money in one shot. You can pay for the first year and show the funds for the first year. But you need to show a repayment plan for the payment plan for year 2 and year 3. So when you pay fees for 1 year, you will get visa for 1 year. And then before that visa is over, you need to pay fees for the second year and show living expenses. So you will get your visa extended for the second year. And then likewise, for the third year also, you do the same thing, which is before your second year visa gets over, you again pay fees for the third year and living expenses, and then you will get it. So I'm not sure what the visa approval rate from Ghana is, but connect with our team and we will take a look and we will absolutely advise you whether you should take this a plunge or not. So we will connect with you. So please connect with our team as well, Margaret. I hope I answered your question. Okay. Okay, Paul, thank you, sir. It was great. I have to leave, but I'll wait for a comment. Okay, Paul, thanks for being there. We will connect with you. Thank you. Toz Boss, nice name, Toz Boss. I'll be coming over for a level 8 program and my husband will be getting a work visa. So if he gets a job, can we apply for PR? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if Toz Boss is your real name. If it is, yeah, Toz, you can. In fact, one of my students, she came for a course in 3D animation. Her husband had a background in information technology. He came on the spouse work visa. And while she was still studying, I think in the first 4 or 5 months, the husband got a very good job as an IT person in a city called New Plymouth. And then they applied for resident visa and they got it. So absolutely possible. You should be able to do it. But like I said, speak to us, connect with us, because we would like to examine the backgrounds and profiles of both of you. And also, you only said level 8 program. We don't know what course, which city, and all that stuff. So you will require all that good information as well. So please connect with us. But the answer to your question, yes, if your husband is coming and is able to find a job, and if the job is at the right level and at the right salary, yes, you guys can apply for residency. Yeah, so please connect with us. Paveen, thank you, sir. Thank you, Paveen. Hi, Siddharth Danava. Hi, Arun, sir. Hi, Siddharth. Shashika Sharma. Hello, sir. I got admitted from University of Auckland for Masters of Engineering Studies and Civil Engineering for Feb 19th. I have heard the funds should be 6 months old. Is that true? If I'm paying tuition fee before visa, that should be also 6 month old, or only living expenses should be 6 month old? By and large, Shashikant, all funds should be 6 months old. Not just the tuition fees. That's why I think you're from India, so the visa officers are going to ask for 6 months funds, both for your tuition fee as well as for your living expenses. Since you're coming only for February of next year, so obviously have those funds planned this year so that they become at least 6 months old by the time you apply for your visa application. You got an admission from University of Auckland. I think I just told you that we are not very big fans of University of Auckland. So if you want to consider other options, we would love to help you. There are good options also from other universities, including IOT, as well as University of Canterbury and a few other places. We would strongly recommend some of these other universities as well. We found a little issue in our dealings with the University of Auckland, because of which we do not recommend them. But yeah, I mean, if you're keen only to go to University of Auckland, all the best. We will not be able to help you, unfortunately, because we don't work with University of Auckland. So by virtue of that, we will not be able to work with students who are going to University of Auckland. But if you would like to consider going to any of the other institutions like IOT or University of Canterbury, talk to our team. And also the other thing that I want to touch upon, I don't know if you're the same person with who I had a chat, or you sound like, it sounds like a similar question. Are you also sure you want to go for the Masters of Engineering Studies? Because sometimes you don't really need to go to that level 9 program. You could because again, I'm not discouraging you from doing it. I'm just saying, in certain instances, it's not necessary that you go to that level 9 program only, when you could probably be doing a 7 or an 8, and you still get the 1-year work visa, and that these two courses are less stressful, less in terms of fees, and still give you the same benefit. And also sometimes when you're sitting in front of an employer, hopefully you will not psych them out of their head when you say, I'm a Master of Engineering Studies, as against, I'm a postgraduate diploma of engineering, things like that. So these are all things to be considered. I would strongly recommend you have a chat with us. We would love to examine, because we love working with good quality students like you, coming for engineering courses and stuff like that, because we have a requirement of engineers. And so yeah, we would love to assist you. But yeah, please do have a chat with us. I hope I've answered your question about the funds. Yes, please make sure it's at least 6 months old for both tuition as well as living expenses. All the best. Gul Janan, hi sir, hi Gul. Right. How many more? Oh, there are a lot of questions. No, okay, not too many. Okay, I'll try and finish this then. Ganesh Mirajkar. Ganesh says, hi sir, myself Ganesh, working with Qatar Airways for the last 13 years in retail as logistic and warehouse. Any chance to get job? Ganesh, one of my most popular videos on YouTube says why it is not an easy task to find a job in New Zealand directly, because which employer will want to bother talking to somebody who's overseas when there are plenty of people here in New Zealand itself. So what's that video? It says, can I find a job in New Zealand and can I get a work visa? It explains why it may not be possible and why study plus settle becomes a good pathway. So please watch it. My team will also connect and give you some details. But getting a job in New Zealand when you're not present in the country is almost impossible. So I think it'll be a waste of your time trying to even send CVs, because I think they'll just get ignored and thrown away. So try and get yourself into the country. And if you're in the country, you're doing a course, and then you get a 1-year post-study work visa, then you have 2 whole years to prove how good you are and hopefully get a job. So my team will connect and give you more details, but that's probably the pathway you should consider. All the best. Girl writes, I'm from Pakistan and wants to study in New Zealand for MS. I did bachelor in geology and currently in final stages of GIS and remote sensing diploma. Fantastic background, Girl. I think there was another person at the start of this session who also had a background in geology, and I spoke at length about geology. Very good subject. We have a requirement for good geology students here in this country. And I think the University of Canterbury has got a great department, has got a very good department. Other than maybe even Victoria, I think Victoria University also has got. We would love to help you. Our team will connect with you very soon. But very good course choice. And Pakistan, incidentally, is the focus country for education, New Zealand. this year, because Education New Zealand is the government body which tries to promote New Zealand education worldwide. And I think Pakistan is one of the focus countries. So we are trying to attract good students from Pakistan. So absolutely, we would love to work with you. AJV would love to work with you. And like I said, we already have clients and students from Pakistan who have worked with us. We would love to add you to that group as well. Our team will connect with you shortly. But very good course choice, and we are a very seismically active region country. So I think some good geologists will be good for us as well. So please come. Welcome to New Zealand. I like this guy's name, Rambo Stallone. Very nice. Hi, sir. Arun, do the students completing their education followed by work period opting for PR need to redo IELTS if their prior IELTS certificate expires during the period of study and work? Good question, Rambo. First blood. Very nice. If you do a particular level of course in New Zealand and for a particular period of time, even if your IELTS expires, there is no problem, because that course will, because it's conducted in English in an English-speaking country, will substitute for the IELTS. So, but it has to be at a particular level at a particular duration. So if you connect with us, we will tell you what is that level and what's the duration. And if you do that course, then there is no need of writing IELTS again at the time of going for your resident visa. Okay. Hope I've answered that, Rambo. You must inbox me your real name, by the way. Thank you. Girl Janan, what will you suggest me? I think I already told you, girl. Good course choice. Geology is very good, and we will be able to find some good courses for you from our universities and suggest it to you. So please connect with our team. So Rajesh, I'm trying to read. This is in Hindi. Rajesh Wagmode, I think. Yeah, I'm not bad. I can still read my Hindi. Rajesh Wagmode says, come to India. Rajesh, you can inbox the ticket and I'll come there. I'm hoping to come there sometime, maybe hopefully in December. Let's see, but at the moment I'm based here. But with internet, Facebook, it does not matter whether I come to India or not. We guys can connect anytime. So India is inside the screen and New Zealand is inside your screen. So it's all the same. But I plan to come because I have some friends to meet. This year I turned 50, guys. So I'm planning to come to India to meet all my classmates who are also all turning 50. So we are all the 50-year-olds club, all middle-aged men trying to catch up and have one last big party. So hopefully I'll be in India this year. Kailash Godara writes, sir, work visa, any reply? Like I said, Kailash, not possible. Kailash. Work visas are not possible when you're outside the country. Watch my video which says how we can get a work visa, or kind of create a pathway into New Zealand towards work and a visa. We will connect and give you more details, but there is a video and I've also explained in this session. So if you can rewind a little bit, you will get the answers. Okay, cool. I really need to go to. Wow, there are some more questions that came in. Okay. Guys, I need to sleep. It's 3 o'clock. Okay. What happens if I shut this down now, and can I come back and start this video again? I mean, I don't know how it works. Sir, please describe the scope of pharmacy technician, Paramveer Bandohal. Paramveer, that's an interesting one. I think pharmacy technician, okay, hang on, let me quickly do some research. I'll come back to that. Nishanti, could you quickly check scope for pharmacy technicians and tell me? Paramveer, I'll come back to you, okay, while we do some research. Marwan, sir, what about students with no good academic records? Depends, Marwan, what do you mean by not so good academic records? Depends. I mean, when you say not so good, is it 40%? Is it 50%? Is it 60%? You need to give more details, which is where we'll connect with you and we'll try and get more details. But yeah, I mean, it's no big deal if you're, if you're really pathetic, then of course it will be very difficult. But bottom line is that New Zealand wants to attract foreign students, not people who cannot pass their subject, of course, or their course. But if you're, average, if you're not terrible and too pathetic in your academics, I think you should be able to get through. And yeah, like I said, we can only answer when we look at your documents and kind of understand if your performance was poor, why it was poor, and then based on that, we can come back. Okay, yeah. So do connect with our team. Yeah. Right, my team tells me, Paramveer, that the scope for pharmacy technicians is good, and it is definitely worth considering. I don't have all the details right now, but we could also probably come back to you with what is the pay scales and scope for it and which institutions. But I think pharmacy technicians sit below pharmacists, registered pharmacists, and I do believe there is good scope. Like any country, there's a lot of medicines that's dispensed in New Zealand as well, and so there is always, I think, sectors like health and information technology, teachers, which are the core sectors, so to speak, health and education. There's always a demand, so it will be there. But my colleague Rishanti has just checked and said, yes, the scope is quite good. But we'll come back to you with more details as to what is the full scope of pharmacy technicians, what you can expect to earn, whether you require work experience or not. We will come back to you. Right now, I can't recall, and she's only told me that, yes, the scope is good, okay? We will come back to you, Paramveer, so please connect with us. Okay, Dinesh, what is the scope of graduate diploma in business information system level 7? I can't quite recollect specifics of this, Dinesh, but I think it is quite good. Business information system sounds like an IT-related course, obviously, and with shades of business as well into it. We would like to get some more detail about your background. The course in itself seems to be all right, but again, we would also like to research that a little bit to see what are the papers. See, the way we counsel our students is not just look at it and say, oh yeah, it sounds good, and so you take it. We don't do that. See, right now, because I'm in a little bit, see, if someone writes to me and says, what about the graduate diploma in creative technologies with specialization in visual effects, I'll be able to give a very clear answer to that, because we know exactly what the scope is for that. Business information systems is a course that we would like to do a little bit of more research and also match it to your background as well, because what is your background? Do you have a background in business, or do you have a background in IT? Is the match correct? Are you jumping into it just because somebody told you take up a course which is related to IT because IT is in long-term skill shortage list? All these unfortunate little inputs come from friends, so-called friends who don't have full information. So what we will do is we will connect with you and we will get more details from you, match your background with the papers in this course. And if it is not matching, in fact, more than matching your background with the papers in this course, we also want to ask you what is your real career goals going forward. And sometimes it could be very different from this course. So we will connect with you. But the course in itself is a good course. Whether if that is the course for you or not is something we can arrive at only after we have a discussion. So wait to connect with us, and you also connect with us as well. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Torendo, for confirming at 16:50. Paramveer, I've already answered your question, and you're saying some academy in New Zealand. Yeah, when we connect, we will also tell you about that institution, whether what is the rating, what is the category, whether it has got a good standing or not. We will tell you about it, because there is a way to find it. Nathan, okay, I have two queries. Course is not into that related to. Okay, Nathan, I have to. Course is not into short skills category. So what will be featured? I already answered this, Nathan, so you can rewind it back and watch it, because I gave a very elaborate answer to your first question. Plus, there is also a video on my YouTube channel. So go to YouTube and type Arun Jacob New Zealand, and I think the video is called "What if my course is not in the skill shortage list?" I think something like that. Just search for it; it is there. I have about 145 videos, so it's one of those. And your second question is: spouse is also having 3 years electronics diploma with 2 years of work experience, and presently as a part-time, she is again into practical training of electronics. Can we enroll in EWRA and do part-time courses, licensed electrician? Please suggest. Okay, it's a very specific question, and I have no idea what is EWRA, by the way. Frankly, I have no clue what EWRA is. And do part-time courses, licensed electrician. I think we will need to connect with you separately to discuss this, Nitin. I may not be able to answer it in this live session because I think your second question looks like it requires some serious research and understanding. At the broader level, we have a shortage of electronics people as well. So if she has got 3 years diploma and 2 years of work experience, she might have to get that diploma assessed by NZQA to see what it is equal to in New Zealand. And then based on that, she might be able to enroll for a course. I don't see any problems with that, but we will connect with you, and I think we will discuss more in detail about it. Okay. Okay, guys, I really have to go, so I'm going to maybe answer another 3 or 4. Okay, maybe we are almost to the end. Okay, Dinesh is done. Lucky Wangmo says, wanted to try for psychology. Absolutely, Lucky. Come for psychology. I think clinical psychologists are also in our long-term skill shortage area at the moment. And if you want to come for course in psychology, I think it's a great choice to make. I think you also posted it to our group in the evening. I think it's a good choice to make. And I remember you saying you finished your 12th, so you want to come for a bachelor's, which is great. Coming for a 3 years bachelor's course in New Zealand gives you 3 years to be here, plus 1 year of work visa. So good long time for you to be able to get yourself well acquainted with New Zealand. So psychology is a very good course. 3 years bachelor's is also a very good choice. Our team will connect with you and give you more details. Okay. Scope of law in New Zealand, Samarth, guys. Samarth, I think I made a video on this and put it up on YouTube about scope of law in New Zealand. I don't know if it was in response to your question a few months ago, but good choice. I mean, masters in corporate law sounds great because corporations grow, and legal aspects of corporations obviously is a growing area, and I think it's quite a niche area in New Zealand, so you should be able to have good scope in that. I would obviously recommend, the moment we say law in New Zealand, the first university that comes to mind is Victoria University of Wellington. We have a great relationship with them. We would love to talk to you and also talk to the people back at Victoria University and see how we can help you. Overall, New Zealand is quite strong in judicial processes, and there's a fair bit of litigation that happens in the country as well. So I think I'm also a legal professional. That one there is my license behind me, which is because I'm a licensed immigration advisor, and my specialization is immigration law. So yeah, I think there is good scope. In fact, amongst all the 1,300 odd immigration licensed advisors worldwide, majority of us are practicing here in New Zealand. So there is a good scope for legal professionals in New Zealand, and in your area, which is corporate law, absolutely. I mean, we may not have huge companies and organizations like other larger countries, but there is always a demand for a good corporate lawyer. So yeah, I would strongly encourage you to consider, and we would strongly recommend Victoria University at Wellington, and we can assist you to be able to get into that. Okay. Okay, Kiran. Who else is there? Okay, the last one, I'm gonna work from the last question to the top now, so that I don't go further. Otherwise, I'll not sleep tonight. Okay, Mohit Sharma, what is the scope of level 7 in IT and job prospects? Good job, good level to study IT. IT is in our skill shortage area. Good job prospects. It will help if you have some experience. It will help if you have great English and confidence and you're able to speak well and talk yourself into a job. Very good prospects. We will connect with you and give you more details. Plus, if you're coming to New Zealand through HAV, we will also connect you to a lot of our students who have done IT courses and very firmly established in IT now. We would love to connect you to them as well. So please work with us, Mohit. Yeah, cool. Robert, okay, Robert, he says, my friend is Sabiruddin, he's Indian, he's working in Rolls-Royce. He finished diploma in automobile engineering. He's working in company from 5 years. What is his chances for it? If you're talking about work, as I told you, Robert, direct work is not possible. He will have to come here through the study pathway. Direct work is almost impossible. Same answer as I gave you before, I think. And, if there's a guy who's working, I don't remember seeing a Rolls-Royce showroom anywhere. But hey, look, an automobile is an automobile. Whether he works on a Rolls-Royce or works on some other brand, I think it's all the same. So you'd have the same scope as yourself, Robert. Yeah. Bikram Subedi, scope of master in food technology. Excellent, Bikram. Excellent. And see, I can say this without any doubt in my mind. We're having such great outcomes for all our clients who are doing courses in food technology. We would love to work with you. There is one course called Master, which comes in a food technology. I think it's called Master in Food Innovation Science or something like that, from Lincoln University in Christchurch, Lincoln. Beautiful outcomes for that, and I can recollect at least a few of our students who have done that course and have gotten into very good jobs and on their way to residency. So strongly recommended. Please connect with our team and we will help you. Okay, Jaskar, can I start a career in New Zealand? I've done a teaching course like JBT and NTT, and I have experience in teaching line for 8 years now, currently working in e-commerce company there. Have any scope in e-commerce in New Zealand? Again, yeah, of course there will be scope for any business related course as well, but maybe not so much for your teaching unless you come and do a course here in teaching, which will lead to teacher registration. So that is probably not possible, but e-commerce, again, I would suggest come and do a course in business which has got papers in e-commerce. Do your course, get a 1 year post-study work visa, apply for it. I don't think it's such a great idea to get too narrow and do only an e-commerce related course, because you might kind of narrow your options a little bit. I would suggest to do something a bit wider in business, which is not too narrow. And in doing that, you might find a job in admin or marketing or sales or some other play, overall, and that might be a better option than coming only for an e-commerce. And if your question is, can I find a job in e-commerce directly in New Zealand without being present here? Don't think so. I don't think it's possible. So I would suggest get into the country through a student visa, come to a good institution, study here, get your post-study work visa, look out for a job. If you are able to find one through your own skills and ability to convince an employer, then I think you'll very well be on your path to residency. Okay. Shana Joseph, BSc Honors in Biotechnology or Food Technology in Waikato. I just answered, Shana. Food Technology, absolutely very good course to choose. I think there's been a lot of good outcomes for our students. Biotechnology is one of our identified future growth areas, so good scope. As you know, we have a large dairy industry, so there's always scope for good biotechnologists. So, and University of Waikato is a very good university. It is my hometown university. I live in Hamilton, and I actually go and practice cricket at the university nets and at the University of Waikato. We have a great relationship with the University of Waikato, and if you come to New Zealand and to University of Waikato through AJV, you will also be sitting in this room and having a beer with me very shortly, because you and I will be in the same city. So very good course choice and a very good university choice. We will connect with you and encourage you to work with us, because we also support our students very strongly in New Zealand. So please consider working with us. All right, good course choice, Shana, and great university choice as well. Yeah. We will also give you the option of Lincoln, so that you also have another option, so that you can try both. Yeah. Who is there any recruitment for fresher? Nitya Guru Salamut. I don't know. I mean, it looks like you're asking for jobs. I've told this many times, especially as a fresher, zilch zero. But you could consider coming as a student and trying your luck like thousands of other international students. Our team will connect and give you more details, but uh, do not try and attempt to find jobs directly when you're a fresher and you're not present in the country. It's an almost impossible thing to do. Okay. Vishal Kurup. Vishal Kurup says, I'm starting working in Dubai as a customer relationship executive in a healthcare group. And can I start a career in New Zealand? I have found one college, NIZE Diploma in Business Studies. I've done all my backlogs. I think you can look at better options, Vishal. I don't know what this college you're talking about, so I don't want to say anything adverse about them, so I will not do that. But there are definitely some good business course options from very good colleges. AIS would be a good option to consider. There are a lot of other institutions that we can recommend to you. Uh, yeah, that's something we can recommend to you. You're already in Dubai, so it looks like you're an experienced person, so it's a good thing for you to start. So yeah, we'll connect with you and give you more details. But yeah, you can absolutely consider. But I would like you to look at options beyond that NIZD or NZIE. I think you mean NZIE. I don't remember any NIZD. So we will talk to you. I think we need to discuss some more with you before we make some suggestions. Okay. Right, Salman Munawar. Are there problems in finding part-time job in smaller cities like Christchurch and Canterbury? Everybody says there are a lot of part-time jobs for students in Auckland, but no much in smaller cities. For not true, Salman. I think there is a part-time job in every city. I think the smallest town would have part-time work. I don't think that is a concern. When you say everyone says lots of things, but it's just the way the world has become. Everyone says lots of things. But don't worry about it. There is always a part-time job somewhere or the other. As long as you're willing to do hard work and don't mind doing any kind of part-time work, I think there is definitely part-time work in even the smallest town in New Zealand. So not to worry about that. And if you come as an AJB student, we will of course guide and help you to find something appropriate as well. Okay. Shivam Sharma, scope for business diplomas. Like I said, if you have some experience, good. If you don't have any experience, maybe not so good. But I think business diplomas, I think, are also being looked at right now, and there might be a possibility that they might remove the post-study work visa for business diplomas below a particular level. I mean, nothing concrete yet, but I think they're considering doing that. So I would say have a chat with us so that we suggest something at an appropriate level, so that even if there's a policy change, you will not get caught in a funny place. So we will talk to you shortly. All right, Shiva? Yeah. Okay. Right. We are down to Maitri Kenya. Sir, does studying in a private institute like NZSC against studying in a university matter from job point of view? Absolutely not, Maitri. I can tell you that without a problem, because I mean the average Kiwi employer is not bothered which institution you have gone to, except maybe in some very specialized courses like food technology and things like that. By and large, they don't care. And NZSC, by the way, is as a private institution. I know the people who started this college, by the way, personally. They are friends of mine. Very good team at NZSC. And I like their commitment towards their students, and I think they have a very robust support system within the college. I know they have a very good placement support system as well. So I strongly recommend NZSE, and it doesn't matter if whether you're going to NZSE or to some fancy other institution. It does not matter. I would actually recommend NZSE, and I hope you're working with us because we have a great relationship with NZSE. And so if you're coming to New Zealand to NZSE, good college. If you're working with us, good company to support. So between your college and a good company, I think you should do well. So yeah, all the best. Strongly recommend NZSE. Yay, I'm down to the last question. Scope of hospitality management and PR in New Zealand. Okay, last question. So I'm going to spend a little time. With this country lives on tourism, Kiran. And tourism is our largest industry, and I think we get millions and millions of tourists every year into New Zealand. What does it mean? They will need somewhere to stay. They will need accommodation. They will need hospitality services. They will need food. They'll need travel services. So that's what tourism is all about. So obviously, by virtue of tourism being our largest industry, there is a good scope for people doing hospitality management. So there's your answer. So you need to come do a good course from a good institution with a good company like AJV to support you. And once you do get all these things lined up, and also find a good job in the tourism sector, in the hospitality sector, which supports the tourism industry, there is good scope. And once you find the job at the right level and excuse me, in fact, right now I'm working on the work visa application of a young lady who also did a course, I think similar to in hospitality, and joined a good hotel in Christchurch, and we are working on her work visa application at the way. Good scope, and I think you'll have pretty good chances of moving towards residency as well. So yeah, that's pretty much all of it. Time to say goodbye, guys. It was lovely. It was tiring. It is 3:20 in the morning. I'm going to sleep now, but thank you very much. I hope all of you enjoyed that, my first live session on Facebook, and appreciate your patience, and I hope I was able to match your expectations. See you next time. Thanks for all your questions. I loved answering them. Sorry if I looked a bit tired. I'll try and do this a little better prepared next time and not do a serious trek in the evening before I do this. Bye guys, good night.